Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into ASHLAND Incorporated's latest 8K filing. It's a bit like opening a fortune cookie. You think you'll get something sweet, but there might be a surprising twist inside. Let's see if this report is a treat or a trick. ASHLAND just dropped some preliminary numbers for their second quarter and shared some information with investors. We're going to break down what it all means without getting lost in complicated business jargon. Think of it as translating corporate speak into plain English so we can figure out what's really going on with the company. First off, this is a Form 8K. Companies use this form to tell investors about big news. Anything from financial results to important events needs to be shared quickly using this form. In this case, ASHLAND is giving us a sneak peek at how they did in the second quarter of their financial year. The official date of this report is April 30, 2025, which means this is pretty fresh information. So on April 30, 2025, ASHLAND announced some early second quarter results. You can find all the nitty-gritty details in the news release they put out alongside this report. It's like reading the highlights before the full game recap. If you wanted to find the full news release, the company mentioned they'd post it to the Investor Center section of ASHLAND's website. In any case, it's an exhibit that is part of this very Form 8K filing. Now let's talk about what all this means. Unfortunately, there are no financial statements in this report, so we can't do a deep dive into ASHLAND's revenue, expenses, profits, and debt. This 8K serves as more of an announcement that financial results are coming and points investors to where they can find the details. So what can we learn from just an announcement without the numbers? Well, sometimes the timing and the way a company releases information can tell you something. If ASHLAND was super excited about their results, they might have made a bigger splash. The fact that this is just a quick announcement suggests the news might not be earth-shattering. Let's zoom out and think about ASHLAND as a company. ASHLAND is a specialty materials company, which means they make and sell ingredients and products that go into all sorts of things like pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, paints, coatings, and adhesives. They're not exactly a household name, but their products are used every day by people all over the world. Now, since we don't have the actual numbers, it's tough to give a super precise analysis. However, let's think about some general things that might be affecting ASHLAND's business. One thing to consider is the overall economy. If the economy is doing well, people tend to buy more stuff, which is good for companies like ASHLAND that supply ingredients for consumer products. If the economy is slowing down, people might cut back on spending, which could hurt ASHLAND's sales. Another thing to think about is competition. The specialty materials industry is pretty competitive with lots of different companies vying for customers. ASHLAND needs to constantly innovate and offer better products and services to stay ahead of the game. There are also global trends to consider. For example, there's a growing demand for more sustainable and environmentally friendly products. ASHLAND needs to make sure they're developing products that meet these demands, or they could risk falling behind. Without seeing the numbers, it's impossible to say for sure how ASHLAND is doing. But hopefully this gives you some context for understanding the company and the challenges and opportunities they face. So what's the story here? ASHLAND is telling everyone they are about to share their financial results for the second quarter. This 8K is an announcement pointing you to a news release that probably gives you more details. Without the numbers, all we can do is speculate about how they're doing, thinking about the economy, competition, and global trends. Now, my take on ASHLAND, it's tough to say for sure without the numbers, but here's what I'm thinking. Direction, ASHLAND seems to be in a decent spot. They are in an industry that is always needed, and they have to keep up with trends like sustainability. Strengths, they've been around for a while, so they probably have some good relationships with customers. I have weaknesses. Competition is fierce, so they always need to be on their toes. Risks, the economy could always throw a wrench in things. If people stop buying stuff, ASHLAND could get hit. Opportunities, there's a big opportunity in sustainable products. If ASHLAND can come up with some eco-friendly materials, they could really take off. Overall, I'd say ASHLAND is a pretty average company. They're not going to set the world on fire, but they're not going to disappear overnight either. Keep an eye on those numbers when they come out and see how they're doing with those sustainability trends. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more corporate deep dives. And let me know in the comments what company you want me to decode next.